Welcome to the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Morgan, and today we are talking about that tricky situation when someone tells you they need time. When they say, "Oh, you're great. I'm really enjoying getting to know you. I just need some time. I just need some space. Let's take a break." We're going to talk about what is really going on. How do you handle this? How do we look at this from an attachment style lens? And really truly I want to help you get to this place where when that happens, you are navigating it in a securely attached way. So all of us have been here, right? I mean, I was thinking about, I have a very extreme example of this from when I was dating, gosh, probably mid 20s. I want to say 24, 25, somewhere in there. My dating life's kind of a blur during that phase of my life, but I was dating this person long distance. Already some yellow flags there when we're doing long distance dating. It can easily speak to that person that isn't emotionally available. Nonetheless, I was believing that this person was all in, that I was having this little whirlwind romance. You know, we're talking hours on the phone together, very, very passionate, engaging, talking about life and all the things, our careers, our families, like very, very vulnerable, deep, connected conversations with this person. So here I am thinking we're building this great relationship, right? And there was a day where I did not hear from this person, which was very unusual because we had been texting nonstop. We were always in communication. I'm getting these daily photos of this person, et cetera, et cetera. There's a day I didn't hear from them. Guess what he was doing that day? Why he was so busy that he couldn't text me? Some of you've heard this story, you might know. He was getting married, y'all. He was busy at the altar. This is, like I said, an extreme example of that person where, gosh, they seem like they're engaged. You think that they're all in, you're building this relationship, but clearly they don't have capacity to actually build a relationship with you, right? This is an example of emotional unavailability. Really, truly, if I look at the situation with compassion and an attachment style lens, this is somebody who is about to get married. And I know it brings up a ton of feelings. I'm in that too. And I've navigated it in a healthy way though. But he was about to get married. And I believe there was avoidant attachment tendencies. And what did he do for distancing? This is coping, right? It's like, oh, to distance himself, to make himself feel better, probably to relieve some of the fears coming up with, "Ooh, I'm committing to this one person." He started this whole other relationship with me, right? That went on for, I want to say it was probably about like 2.5 months. And he started up this whole other thing. And maybe in his mind, he was going to call off his wedding. I have no idea. But I just remember being awake at 2 a.m. You know, I hadn't heard from this person. I have this intuition and I am like Googling his name. I'm like searching name, wedding, whatever. And I found the wedding registry. And I knew in that moment, oh my God, I fell for it again. This was before I had really deeply done my own healing work. I knew I was doing repetition compulsion. Here I am again, recreating the same dynamic with somebody who is emotionally unavailable with the hopes that this time they will choose me. They will be emotionally available because I'm good enough. And then if I can just get that outcome, it's going to make up for everything I experienced in my past. And it's going to finally make me feel like I am enough and I'm worthy of love. So I was repeating that dynamic. And I just want to talk about this whole, okay, you're dating somebody, your early stages relationship. And honestly, it's not always early stages that this happens where somebody starts distancing. This can also come up 6 months in, 1 year in. This even can come up at any point, right? Where someone is going, I'm pulling away. Um, If this is happening too often, we are confusing somebody's pulling away, somebody's lack of emotional availability. We're making it mean something about ourselves. We're making it mean something about ourselves, right? That there's something wrong with us, that we're not good enough in some way, that, oh, if only I was prettier, if only I was XYZ more, then this person would want to be with me. So that's number one. I want you to realize that someone's emotional capacity has nothing to do with you and your worthiness. Okay. And if someone is telling you they need time, they need space, I want you to realize that they may not be aware that just because they are desiring a relationship does not mean that they have the emotional capacity for a relationship. We can desire intimacy, we can desire to have a partner, but not be equipped with the emotional availability, with the secure attachment, with the communication skills that we need, with the emotional regulation skills that we need. We may not be equipped to actually build a relationship. So there's a difference between desire and capacity. Your desire to be in a relationship does not equal your capacity to actually show up in one. And when I think about it, some of my most painful relationships that I was in the past, and there's one in particular that's coming to mind, it was two people who really desired one another and desired to be in a relationship and had all this wonderful intent and longing and really, really wanting love, but neither one of us had the capacity. Neither one of us had the emotional availability. We didn't have the tools. We didn't know how to embody secure attachment. We didn't know how to communicate. So even though that love was there, the desire was there, without the capacity, all we did was continue to wound one another. All we were doing was hurting each other over and over again, right? You could consider this like a trauma bond, right? We had the desire, but the capacity wasn't there. So let's break this down. When this is happening, I want you to understand this situation from an attachment theory lens, okay? So hypothetically, you're dating somebody, they're pulling away, they're asking for time, they're asking for space, and your attachment system is going into overdrive. Your attachment system is going danger, danger, alert, right? And let's look at what happens from each style. If you have anxious attachment and this is happening, you are likely to be spiraling. You are likely to go, okay, I need to do everything I possibly can to not be too much, right? You're going to try to be the cool girl or the cool guy and not have needs and not ask for reassurance. You're going to try to prove that you're worthy, that they stay with you. This might look like you associating your physical appearance with your worthiness. I don't know how many people have done this where you're like, oh, I think they might be wanting to break up with me, so let me make sure I look super hot and I'm going to post it to my Instagram stories. Maybe I'm out with my friends or out with my girlfriends and hey, check me out in this little outfit just to remind you how deserving I am of you, right? Just to remind you that you would be an idiot if you left me. We do all these crazy things, right? With anxious attachment, protest behaviors. We're going, okay, who do I have to be so that you don't leave me? You might become overly accommodating. You might be self-abandoning a bit here. You might be putting this person even more on a pedestal and just asking yourself, okay, what do I have to do so that I'm not abandoned, right? And a lot of times this is happening unconsciously. It's not like, a lot of people are even aware they're doing this. They're just sort of going through the motions and in their mind, they're being a good partner, they're making it work, they're doing what they have to do, right? But this anxious attachment spiral, when you feel that person pulling away or that person telling you they need a break, they need space, this spiral is so damaging to you. It's taking your energy. It's causing you to devalue yourself. It's causing you to be so focused on the other person and the other person's needs that then you're not tuned in with, well, what do you want? Do you like how you feel in this relationship? Right? So that's kind of what's going on with anxious attachment. What's going on with the avoidantly attached person? Well, if you have avoidant attachment and somebody starts pulling away, which I do see this with people who are both avoidant, where you have people who are either disorganized, they both have avoidant attachment. And if you have avoidant attachment and then someone is pulling away from you, it kind of pisses you off a little bit. You're like, oh, huh, that's cute. I know how to do that really well. And then you are probably going to unconsciously pull away yourself. You're going to find ways to distance. You're probably going to devalue that person. You're going to be like, well, they're not that great, anyways. You're going to say, this is what's wrong with them. This is why they don't compare to my ex. You're going to do that thing where you are emotionally distancing yourself from the relationship by any means necessary. And you might feel deep down, whether you realize it or not, it's that fear that you have that you can't depend on people. And then you're feeling very justified in not letting people in. If the avoidantly attached person is getting hurt by being let down by others, they're going, well, of course, this is what happens when you get close to people. This is why it's so much better for me to just be hyper independent. This is why I shouldn't date. This is why I should completely opt out of being in a relationship. You're feeling very justified to have your avoidant attachment style. And then this is where you're probably just going to, as I mentioned, you're going to pull away. You're going to stop showing up. You're going to say, oh, well, I'm not going to message them. I'm not going to reach out to them. They want space. I'll give them space. They want space. Have a nice trip to the moon. Go get some space. Like you're going to sort of overreact to the request. And then let's talk about disorganized attachment. Shout out to those of you with this attachment style. This was my style for so many years. It is so incredibly painful. This is where you have that super, super fun mix of anxious and avoidant happening at the same time, the push pull dynamic. So when someone is pulling away and you have a disorganized attachment style, this is so familiar to you. This is like, oh, this is a normal occurrence. I'm used to unpredictability. I'm used to somebody being there one day and gone the next. The chaos is normal. So with disorganized attachment, this will kind of just depend on you. It'll depend on the relationship. You'll either respond with the anxious strategy that I talked about or the avoidance strategy. And you'll probably go back and forth between the two, where one day you're feeling anxious, or even one moment you're feeling anxious, and then the next you're feeling disorganized. And this can lead to a lot of impulsivity. I need to look at the research on disorganized attachment and impulsivity and ADHD. I guarantee you there is a huge correlation. And when we think about impulsivity, it is when we are acting in the moment, we are emotionally dysregulated, there's chaos, we're not able to regulate, we're not able to slow down and act from a place of intention, from being in alignment with what we want. It's impulsive, right? Impulsivity happens when we don't know how to regulate, when chaos is our norm, when we have just realized that no matter what we do, there's going to be chaos. So we just have to do something, right? Um, and I think that when somebody is pulling away and you have a disorganized attachment style, once again, you go, yep, this is normal. And then you're probably going to find impulsive ways to self soothe. When I look back on my dating life with disorganized attachment, if somebody was pulling away, I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to go to Vegas with my girlfriends. Or, okay, well, I'm going to go get super wasted at the bar and I'm not going to like hook up with anyone. I'm not going to be unfaithful, but I'm going to make sure I get attention. I'm going to make sure that okay, I'm getting some validation from elsewhere because I'm not getting it from this person. So I'm going to make very impulsive decisions where I don't think about the long-term effects of those decisions. Okay. It's once again creating more chaos in your life with disorganized attachment. And this dynamic just feels addictive, right? This is that we talk about this when it comes to unhealthy relationship dynamics, how it's so similar. You guys have heard me say this. It's so similar to gambling because you have that intermittent reinforcement. Sometimes you're hitting the jackpot, you're getting that dopamine rush, you're getting that person that they want to connect with you and they're so into you and it feels so, so good. You're getting that random jackpot. But then a lot of times you're not getting anything. You're not getting the dopamine. The person's pulling away. You are, stuck in maybe feeling really low and maybe even experiencing depression symptoms, right? You're going through these periods of low lows and then you're having these periods of the high highs, and it makes that relationship dynamic addictive in itself. And you're a lot more susceptible to that when you have a disorganized attachment style. Okay. So, understanding how our attachment style interacts with this whole scenario of the person needing time, I want to then move on and just talk about what do we do then? How do we handle this in a healthy way? And number one, I want you to know this: everything changes when you change. The best thing you can do if you have an insecure style, anxious, avoidant, disorganized, the best thing you can do is become securely attached. Work on healing yourself internally so that you are showing up differently and you're finally attracting the types of relationships that you deserve. And it's not just about attracting them, it's about maintaining them. It's about being able to be regulated and securely attached and embodying secure attachment in your body so that you're not sabotaging. So that if, oh, this person is emotionally available, they do what they say they're going to do, they have so much love that they want to give me, they are serious about a relationship, they actually have capacity for a relationship, right? So that when you do find that person, you're not sabotaging it. When you have secure attachment, you're allowing that person in. You're you're attracted to that secure dynamic, right? So I would love to help you get to that place. I have 10 spots left only inside of the Empowered, Secure, Loved program. This is an incredible time to join. We have an incredible offer for you right now that is 2 bonus coaching sessions. You're also getting 3 gifts from me. One of them is the Breakup Academy, which is a whole other course. So if you have that past relationship you haven't let go of, that would be perfect for you. And then I'm also going to send you my morning alignment journal. This is the journal that changed my life, that you use in a daily identity practice that really helps with your transformation. And I do have to point out, just because our clients are absolutely loving this, I have my own app now, you guys. I have evolved with the times. I have a Dr. Morgan coaching app. So you access the program in the app. You also have the Dr. Morgan AI. How many of you have wanted to be able to message me, right? I'm there, I'm in your pocket. You're spiraling at 2 a.m. You can send me a message on the app. You get instant responses. This thing is trained. It's kind of crazy. It's my little mini me. It is trained with my consciousness, my intellectual property through podcast episodes, through my book, through, thousands of things that I have trained it on, it knows how to respond as me. So you get all of that. You get the course content, you get live support from me, you get bonus one-on-one coaching sessions, you get 3 gifts. This is just such a crazy time to join the program. And I know that you have been listening, you've been thinking about it, and you've said, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I don't have time. And I just want you to know this, that the longer you wait, there's more of a domino effect, right? The longer you stay in the situation you are, then more and more can happen that takes you farther and farther away from where you want to be. But the moment you decide, oh, I want to heal, I'm drawing the line in the sand, I am becoming securely attached, then your positive domino effect begins to happen and every single area of your life gets better. So I want that for you. I want you to heal. My mission is just to help as many people as possible become securely attached. If you are one of those people, you know that this is for you. Go apply. Like I said, we have limited spots left this month. And all you have to do, it takes 2 seconds, use the link in the show notes and fill out the application. So that's number 1, become securely attached. That's the best way to work on this. The next thing I want you to think about is you have to understand this is a painful one. This is one that's taken me, I don't know, over a decade. I would say a decade plus to understand. And it's this: desire does not equal capacity. Somebody may want to love you, they may desire to be with you. They may say, oh my goodness, I see a life with you. I know what we should name our children. Let's go buy that house in the country and, have the dogs and let's build this life together. Like they may just really, really want it with you, but they don't have the skills. They don't have the emotional availability, or they don't have the stability in their own life. They haven't created a strong enough identity. They haven't created secure attachment within themselves, right? And if they don't have that, no matter how much they want to be with you, they won't be able to be with you. They won't be able to actually make a relationship work. This is an oldie but a goodie. You've heard me say this. Do not water plastic plants. When you are showing up and giving to a relationship that has no capacity to grow, it is like watering a plastic plant. You are giving your precious, valuable energy to something that cannot grow. So you deserve to know this truth. Just because somebody has desire to be with you doesn't mean they actually have capacity to be with you. So this goes really nicely into the second thing I want to talk about, which is we have to look at actions, not words. Capacity is not in what someone tells us. You all know this. I know y'all are listening. And you're like, yep, I know this one. Been there, done that. Somebody can say, I'm so ready for a relationship. You're out on a date with them, and they're like, I'm just really excited to get into this chapter of my life where I'm with my partner and we're watching Netflix and we're going to Costco together. I just can't wait to be married and have a family. They could be telling you all these things, right? They're like, I just want my Love Island binge partner. But they then may not show up with the actions that support the words. So always choose what are they doing, not what are they saying. Does this person do what they say they're going to do? How does this person respond when there's conflict? How does this person express their emotions? How do they express their needs? Do they know how to ask for reassurance? Are they able to set boundaries? When you set a boundary with them, do they honor your boundaries? Right? We have to actually look at the actions, not the words. Okay. That's where I teach all of our clients. We have to be a love scientist. We are gathering the data. We're asking ourselves, how do I feel in this relationship? Is this how I want to feel in my ideal relationship? Do these actions match up to the standards that I have for my ideal partner, right? We have to ask these questions and look at the behaviors, look at the actions, not the words. All right. The fourth thing I want to talk about is, you know, when you have a secure attachment style, it's like finally being able to put on glasses that you've needed your entire life. I have horrible vision, by the way. How many of you have terrible vision? I'm too scared to get the LASIK. You guys are going to DM me. You're going to say, go get the LASIK done. Nope. Nobody's putting lasers in my eyes. Okay. I have a fear of this. But I have terrible vision. And it would be like if someone who had a vision like mine finally put glasses on and then they could see clearly for the first time. That's what secure attachment is. You're able to see clearly. That person with secure attachment, they're no longer attracted to the lack of capacity person. They are not romanticizing, ooh, I can get this person to be emotionally available. They're not going to be asking, "Oh, what's wrong with me? Why isn't this person putting effort in? Why isn't he texting me back? What did I do? What did I say?" We're no longer doing that. We're going, "Oh, this person isn't messaging me when they said they would. That's interesting. I wonder what's going on." We're going to have curiosity, right? Especially if it's early on. If we don't have a lot of data, we're going to give people the benefit of the doubt, but we're just going to say, huh, that's interesting, right? Yellow flag. And we're going to be asking the questions, does this person have capacity to build the type of relationship that I want to build? So I think this leads into my next point. Geez, I am just hammering this. I need you guys to get this, okay? But this is totally related, that we have to get to this place that when someone doesn't have capacity, we are no longer playing out our childhood unfinished business. We're no longer engaging in repetition, compulsion, where we are recreating dynamics that we've had in our past. We're taking those childhood wounds and we're reenacting them in our adult dating lives. We have to get to the place where we go, okay, I'm going to deal with my unfinished business, my childhood wounds. I'm going to deal with that stuff at the root. And I'm no longer bringing it into my relationship decisions. I'm going to have a blank slate. I'm going to be choosing people from a securely attached place, not from the desire of, ooh, let me reenact this painful childhood dynamic so that maybe I can get a different result and then it'll make up for all the trauma I experienced in my past. We're no longer doing that, right? And I know a lot of you are asking me, well, how the heck do I stop doing that? That's what we do inside of the Empowered, Secure, Loved program. It's really hard to get there on your own. So I highly recommend that whether it's inside of my program or somewhere else, that you're getting help to stop repetition compulsion. And then finally, let's just end on this because this is key. This is something I tell all of my clients who are getting ready to date. We have to build on reality, not fantasy. I teach people this coping skill called reality testing. How do we check in with reality? If somebody feels exciting, maybe they feel familiar, maybe they are once again kind of tapping on all those childhood wounds, things we've experienced in the past, it's really easy for your brain to start filling in the dots, right? For your brain to go, ooh, I see how this could work out, or I see why we're perfect here. For you to write a whole romance novel, right, in your brain of where this relationship is going, you're filling in the blanks and you're not basing it on the evidence. You're basing it on the unconscious wish that this time the relationship would turn out differently than your past relationships. Okay. So instead of basing relationship decisions on fantasy and on that unconscious desire to have a different outcome, We're basing our relationship decisions on reality, on data, on the evidence that we have, on the actions, not the words, right? So I think this is such a powerful episode. If you have anybody in your life who's dating, or if you are dating, make sure you listen to this one again. You send it to somebody who needs to hear it, because this is certainly the things that this is the tough love that I needed to hear. This would have really helped me when I was struggling. So I really hope it's helped you. I know hopefully we laughed a little bit along the way. Right. And I just want you to know, like, no matter where you are right now, if you are repeating unhealthy patterns, maybe you're in a relationship and you're like, Dr. Morgan, I know I shouldn't be in this. I know. Ask yourself this question. If you were telling me about your relationship, and you were telling me about how you feel and what's been happening and the behaviors, what do you think I would say about your relationship? Just curious, right? Like, maybe you're that person where it's not right. You need to cut it off. You know that it is below your standards. You know that it's not securely attached. And you're not even blaming the other person. You're also taking ownership that you haven't done the work on you. Maybe that's you, okay? As you know, I would never judge you. I've been there. And I also want to hold you to that standard of, if you know that you deserve better, and you know that it's not a healthy, that it's not a securely attached, emotionally safe relationship, you know that nothing is going to change until you change. Okay. Nothing is going to change until you change. But the beautiful thing is, you can change. So, once again, please, if you haven't already, go apply to the Empowered Secure Love program. I do want to put it out there. We're taking a limited number of men as well. We've had a lot of men go through this program successfully. So I know a lot of times I am focusing on the female experience, but obviously this work applies to everyone. Okay. So no matter your gender identity, your sexual orientation, no matter how you identify, becoming securely attached changes everything. And it's the thing that people need when they're struggling, when they're repeating patterns. So if you felt called, if this was helpful, and you know it's time for you to do the work, go apply to the program. The link is in the show notes. Okay. And of course, you guys know I do this podcast because I genuinely care about you. I genuinely want you to have the no BS relationship advice that I wish that I had had. And if you've been a fan of the show, or maybe you're new to the show, it would just mean the world to me if you took 2 seconds to go leave a written review. I read all of the reviews, and it is the best way to help more people find this show. So please go leave a written review. It would mean the world to me. And of course, as always, I am wishing you high self-worth and great relationships. I'll talk to you next time.